Okay, we're going to talk about Lowdens and Sheerans today and why we are investing heavily in both those lines for 2020. So, Baxter Clement here at Casino Guitars. We're talking about Lowdens and Sheerans, as I just said, but they are perhaps, let's talk about Lowdens first. One of my favorite guitars I've ever played. I've loved Lowdens ever since I was a young human, which was long time ago. And I got to play one, God, it was like a 90s, I think. And it was just, I never played a guitar like that. I've played all the greatest guitars in the world. Not all of them, but Martins and Taylors. You know, like I played the big boys. And if you played the big boys, like those are some pretty amazing guitars. But Lowdens, I played one. I was a young boy, and it was unbelievable. And I didn't need to play one for like probably a decade at least after that. But the craftsmanship, the tone I was able to get out of it, it just blew me away. And briefly on to Sheeran's. This is this new line that just came out of this guitar company with the history since 1974 of building hand-built masterpieces in Northern Ireland. And they have ventured into this world to build a guitar that is affordable, excellent, extremely playable, and has its own unique tone, and built in Northern Ireland as well. That leap of faith and desire to bring a guitar at an affordable price point to a larger audience inspires me not only as, you know, as a business person, but also as a player and someone who thinks our most important goal in all of this, talking about guitars on the internet, selling guitars, playing guitars, is having the next generation play guitars. If we don't do that, it does stop and it goes all onto the computer, and we lose that analog, interactive experience that all these great manufacturers have given us for the past few hundred years. Now, back to Lowdens a bit. We brought on Lowden a few years ago, and it started with perhaps the most personal connection that I've ever had with any of the manufacturers I've worked with. We work with, again, the biggest manufacturers in the world. We have Fender, Gibson's coming in. We've worked with D'Angelico. We work with Taylor. We work with Martin. We have Gretsch. It's like Paul Reed Smith. Amazing guitars. All these amazing companies to work with too. Love everyone there. I've had great experiences with everybody. It's been fantastic. But Lowden is particularly different. It's a small company, very small, and it's very personable. The first time I met them, and I did physically meet them, I didn't make a phone call or an email. I took a bunch of kids over there, not my own kids, but we do a charity. We bring 6 kids from our community over to Northern Ireland. We do this every year, and we bring 6 Northern Irish kids over to America, and we do a musical cultural exchange. And it's life-changing for these young people, and it was life-changing for myself, and hopefully in a negative way for Lowden, because now they have to deal with me and my irritating phone calls and emails. I feel bad for Tessa and Alistair. Sorry you have to deal with this ugly face at least once a year when you see me, and then on the phone, on the internet all the time. One day we will be a proper guitar shop, as you keep complaining, Alistair. But anyway, I brought these kids over. I brought a gaggle of kids, and there wasn't some sales team to meet me at the Lowden factory, which is the size of our guitar shop. It was small. We brought kids and we walked through the whole factory. George brought us in and he welcomed us through, and we get this great tour. They opened their doors and arms. I saw how this company worked and how they built their guitars. And I met everyone building there, from George's sons to his wife to the crew there. It's the crew, the staff, the team, the makers. It was the happiest crew I've probably ever seen building guitars. And they were building works of art. I remember seeing some of the Brazilian rosewood pieces, blew my brains away. It's just, but anyway, that was my first experience with them. And I sat down with Alistair and with George for a minute afterwards, and we talked business. And it wasn't a business meeting. It was just talking about guitars. And they liked what we have to offer. I love what they have to offer. So we brought them in. We're in North Carolina. We became one of their premier dealers in the southeast area of United States of America. We're not in Europe. But and that's where we started, and we slowly got our pieces in, because it takes a while to get a Lowden guitar, and we sold them. And we slowly got a few more, and we sold them, and it kept growing. And now we're in 2020, and we've decided to invest not only in more pieces, but some of these one-of-a-kind, unique pieces that you're not going to find these tone woods put together in this way by any other company in the world. George has a magic touch. The guys at the shop have a magic touch. The people that they bring to NAMM are not just a sales force. It's guys that put their hands on guitars too, and girls. They have an amazing female staff too. It's very frustrating. We all love them, but we can't even talk to them. We're too scared to talk to them. That's another story. But these guitars that we brought in, we found a customer base that is thrilled to have the physical ability to touch them, to come in and try out these different exotic wood combinations that were put together immaculately with finishes that we can't even begin to describe. How perfect. You have to touch them. Just even the way the headstock curves, the 5-piece neck, the bracing is phenomenal. They say don't take pictures, but we all put our cell phones in there and take pictures because we want to know how it's built, and it's on the internet. But we love it. It's just, there's nothing like the fine work on that. And we've been extremely successful with them, thrilled. And then they decided to launch the Sheeran line, which came as a shock to all of us. And it was a great shock. It was NAMM last year, I think. Not this 2020, it was 2019. We showed up at a private event. They invited their premier dealers in the States and I guess in the UK, anybody that showed up at NAMM. And they said, we have a new guitar we're gonna announce. I figured it was gonna be some obscure French jazz guitar player or somebody from, Prague that's really good and does some amazing tapping. And then this funny red-haired guy with glasses comes out, and of course my wife freaks out and she smells like a teenager all of a sudden, and she acted like one too. It was adorable. She's not a teenager. That would be weird. And then we saw Ed Sheeran sing some songs for us, talk about his vision and why he joined with George, which was, it's not to make money. Ed Sheeran doesn't need to make money. His mission is to get young people to play a finely crafted instrument that's built in the UK or Northern Ireland or Ireland, whatever you prefer calling it. We can go into semantics there. But built in their country by hand, with some machining, of course, by one of the best guitar making companies in the world. And having Ed Sheeran as a partner, not just financially, but also vocally and spiritually and beyond that, is a great figurehead because he is about young people playing guitar. He takes the time to work with his charities with addictions in the UK and all the other works that he does, alone linked with what George does. It's a spectacular combination and almost combustion of just goodwill, not just for bottom line, which made us happy. Now, we played the original demos. Let's get to the guitars. We played the original demos at that NAMM, and they were okay. They were decent guitars. I did not love them at first when I first played them. I was like, this is a good guitar. What's going to happen with them? And then the team there, the building team that was at NAMM, they said, well, we're taking all these back. I can't do my accent. We're taking them all back. I'm going to trash them. But first, we're going to take them apart and see what's wrong with them, see what we can do better. And then they wrecked them. They destroyed them. I wanted to get them. I wanted the one that Ed Sheeran played, but they wouldn't let me have it. But so they took them back. They disemboweled these guitars and they rebuilt them. And then we ordered them in January, and we didn't start getting them until, God, was it? I think it was like October, September. It was 9 months. It was a long time. I don't remember. It was a long time. We had lots of customers pre-order, and we sold, I think we had over like 20 to 30 pre-orders, somewhere in that range. People waiting for the good part of a year. We have one that just showed up literally the other day that is for one of our customers that's been waiting since the original order at NAMM last year. And this is a year post from that. So the production was slow, but the production was slow because they were moving into a larger scale of facility to build these guitars at a higher output because the demand was way higher than they anticipated, I think. So they were sort of caught there and they had to catch up. But knowing George, he's not going to put out a guitar that is substandard for what he believes needs to be in that market and in that place. So we didn't mind waiting, and most of our customers didn't either. We've actually developed quite a few friends from this wait because we'd email them every day. They would email us and we'd email back, and we've developed friendships. That's Rafi, and I have a strange friend in Florida, Z, but I'm not going to talk about him. He's a problematic person. But that spawned from the Sheerans, just like a whole new community getting into this line and getting into guitars from the impetus of launching this from the UK, Ireland, Northern Ireland area. Also with Ed Sheeran's name and with George Loudon's name connected. Now, have the guitars been perfect? Of course not. Every guitar launch is not perfect. We've had one that the bridge popped off on. And we don't know if that was how that happened exactly, but when that happened, they immediately got in touch with Lowden. Lowden started to sort it out, but we jumped in and we sort of helped with that too. It already went to the customer. Wonderful guy, easy to work with, completely understanding. Things happen on these guitars. We got it back. Alistair and the team, they're taking the guitar back to Ireland. They're shipping us a new one. Not a problem. We had one with some of the fretwork wasn't so good. Guess what? Right back to Ireland. No problem. They're going to fix it. We could have done it ourselves, and they want to take care of it. So as far as handling any QC quality control issues, they've been pretty on point with it. They're a little slower than some of my American counterpart companies because I don't know. I go to Ireland every year, and I guess it's called Irish time. I never heard this before, and I'm not trying to offend anybody that's in Ireland, but things tend to happen a little bit slower and a little bit later there. We go meet someone for tea or for a drink. If it's at 9 o'clock, they're going to be there maybe at 9 to 10, maybe a little past 10. That's Irish time. I'm not Irish. I don't know, but I love the culture anyway, even the lateness. But going back to the issue of a company where I can actually pick up the phone, or in most cases just shoot them an email, and I'm talking to the head of their entire sales operation. When I do that, it's not a team of people handling this. They'll take care of it. You develop friendships with this company, and they will stick by you, and it's been shocking. Like I've worked with these other companies, and you see, reps come and go sometimes, which is very sad. It's like losing a friend sometimes, and people that you work with. And with Lowden, it's been a pretty consistent crew. I don't think they leave that job because they're passionate about the guitars. They know they're building one of the best guitars in the world, hands down. There's no argument. No one of the right mind would ever be like, Loudens are not good guitars. That would be insane. And they're expensive. They start, in UK and European terms, you are starting at 3,000 sort of euro range, and we're starting around $400 to $4,500 for a proper Northern Irish built Lowden guitar, not the Sheeran line. But I honestly feel like you're getting every penny worth of that. We sell every proper major guitar manufacturer in the world at this point, and these guitars they're not better, they're of a different caliber. And when you're spending $5,000 on a Taylor, a Martin, or a Lowden, you have three very different instruments. And the Loudens do something that I particularly am obsessed with. I think they're fantastic. You can ask anyone in the internet world that knows me. I'm very connected with my love of how that guitar sounds. I like to arpeggiate a lot. It has a orchestral piano-like tone. If I'm playing a strumming bluegrass style, I'm going to always go to a Martin. If I want those sort of lush overtones, I would like to get a custom build to order Taylor, and has that sort of shimmery highs and that nice little tight bass that pops out. But for my playing style and for my lust of the woods and what it does, there's nothing finer in this little rock that we live on called Earth than a Lowden guitar. So I would love to hear your thoughts, your opinions on what you think of your Lowden, negative or positive. It's most likely going to be positive because it's hard to find too many negative experiences with Loudens. I'd like to hear your opinions and thoughts on the Sheeran line too, and what you think and your experience trying to get one, and how easy or hard that was, because it's been a long wait for some of our guys. And just thanks for listening. I'm excited that we're bringing more Loudens to the US and being able to bring this great guitar line to a larger audience. And we're going big this year, and it'll be bigger next year. Thanks for watching Casino Guitars. Baxter Clement, signing out.